This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for What in the World with
Paul Seaburn. That's me. Hi,
That's
Karen.
you.
How are you?
I'm doing great. The sun is shining
The
today.
sun is shining. That's right. We are here in beautiful Northeast Ohio on May 16th.
March.
Oh, okay. We'll edit that out.
Okay.
On March 16th. And I'm here with the lovely Karen Hale, who is the media mogul at NewClevelandRadio.net, as well as being our co-host and producer. And back with us this week is John DiNallo with sports and color commentary. Hi, John. How are you?
Hi, Paul. I'm well. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
It's another great day in Northeast Ohio, and another great day for our show.
Absolutely.
John just remarked that he just came in from outside where it's beautiful in the 50s. I think that's pretty good for
That's good.
March.
Yeah.
March, is it March?
March.
You did say
It
March.
is March.
Yeah.
I got to write that down for next week because
It's
do
the
that.
eve
It'll
of
be
St.
March, won't
Patrick's Day. It's the eve
What?
of St. Patrick's Day.
We should
I
all
have to
be
write
wearing
every-
green. We should
Yeah.
be wearing green. Didn't think
That's
of
true. You know, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. In fact, I think I have a story. I do have a St. Patrick's Day story, or at least a reference. So anyways, where are we? We're here at NewClevelandRadio.net on What in the World, where our motto is real news, sometimes strange, always funny. Every week we get together either on YouTube or on all of the many podcast platforms that are associated with NewClevelandRadio.net. They're all free, which makes it even better. Please follow us, patronize our sponsors. That's how we stay in business. Many of the stories come from my other website, mysteriousliuniverse.org, where I'm the editor and writer. But a lot of them just come from the news. I have a bunch of them. Some of our regulars follow me on Facebook, and they know that I post jokes that I occasionally refer to in the show. And there were a ton of them today. So what I had posted yesterday that we'd be talking about on the show today may or may not make it, because some of the strangest things I've ever seen popped up today. And I know I've said that many times, haven't I, John?
Yes,
That,
you have. Paul, if nothing else, you're consistent.
And each week, thank you. And each week we manage to top it.
That is true. That is true.
So we're gonna. I know we're gonna do that this week. So let's get started here. Take a look at the time real quick, and let's see if I can. So this opening story comes from TikTok. You know, the kids like this TikTok stuff these days, Karen and John. Are you familiar with TikTok? And we're talking about the clock.
Yeah, I am, but I don't have a TikTok account.
Yeah, it's a little short video platform. And this particular lady got 1 million views this week with her, pretty good, with her little instructional video for people on something that she discovered. And she thinks that it was so cool that she shared it with the world. What she does, her name is Amy. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce everything that runs after her TikTok name, but she said that she saves time and has a whole lot of fun by doing this. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm just going to bring up her picture here real quick. There she is.
I saw that. That is ridiculous.
Amy, John. Amy sits backwards on the toilet and puts her food and her iPad on the tank, as you can see there. And so she can eat and watch TV and do whatever else she might be doing in the bathroom at that time. What do you think of that?
It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. That's a good word for it, Karen. Ridiculous.
Paul, it's an instructional video.
Yes, it is. Well, John, I mean,
Okay.
if you really need instructions beyond looking at the picture and figuring out what she's doing, but when she said she's watching Netflix, so I know Netflix is going to jump on this and start offering a service for watching in the bathroom called
Wow.
Netflush.
And wait,
Uh,
but why does she have to eat at the same time?
I
That's
guess because she's hungry, Karen.
oh,
Or
I
maybe the movie is long that she's watching, or you, she says, here's what she says, and I will quote, maybe she'll answer it for you. I quote, get your favorite snacks, get your favorite show, and that's how you poop. It's the best of all times. You just sit there jamming and pooping. Believe it or not, that was also the title of a cartoon that I was pitching to Comedy Central back when Beavis and Butthead came out. They took Beavis and Butthead. They didn't take mine. And I believe that that's illegal in many states. So, that's not the kind of thing that you want to be doing. She apparently is British. And they do these. I could tell she's British because in the video, she refers to that bag of Lay's on the commode as crisp. So that's always a sure sign. If they refer to their chips as crisp, or if they refer to the trunk of their car as the boot, I believe, are sure sign. That you learn so much at What in the World here, don't you, Karen?
yeah, what did I want to learn? Yep.
Yeah. So to me, I was surprised that a young lady would propose something like this. I think that this sounds like more like a guy thing. You got a roll over there that you can use for napkins. So and it's flat. I mean,
Oh my God.
it just kind of makes sense. Except I don't know if that's what I would eat. I was trying to figure out what would be good or bad in this situation. She had there's I think I have another picture of her little table there. Yeah, there you go. So she's watching, but I don't know what that is she's watching.
Looks like a group of skunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Group of skunks. Okay.
I don't know if that's a kid's video or what. She said she was watching Netflix, but she's got some brownie bits over there too, brownie bites. So she's having brownies and chips or crisp and her lovely beverage while she watches her show.
Maybe she should have been eating prunes.
Oh, good one, Karen. Good one.
I don't know. It might be better if she was watching bears, because we know what bears do in the woods, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I was thinking a bad thing to be eating in this situation would be bran muffins, because you're never done. You're eating and you get the idea.
Yes.
And then John, I'm thinking, well, maybe this is something we could try for a future. We could do a remote. No, maybe no, not a remote, but we could do a test. And I'm thinking, we're watching football games and you get all excited. And the next thing you know, you tilt over backwards. And what do you say to the EMS guys when they come to rescue you? I'm starting to, you're trying to explain it to them and they look down at you and they say, oh, don't worry, we saw that video too. Don't worry about it. That is the strangest thing I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
I have to agree, Paul. I have to agree with
I think so. So let's move on to something a little, not necessarily more pleasant, but maybe more interesting. This story comes from Japan. As I always say, our stories on What in the World come from around the world, sometimes around the universe. So there's a political candidate running for office in the Chiba prefecture east of Tokyo. So that's kind of like a county. And this is how he campaigns. There he is. He dresses up as the Joker from Batman, and he campaigns that way. So you never see him out of his out of his Joker makeup, and of course the lovely coat and the yellow handkerchief. So I'm thinking, what if this works? If politicians around the world are going to pick up on it, especially in the United States. Chris Christie, I can see, this is his chance to run for governor of New Jersey again, dressed as the Penguin. Perfect. Perfect costume for him, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Yep.
Would be appropriate.
It would be. So then I'm thinking, what other villains would be good for politicians to dress up as from Batman? The first one I thought of was Two-Face, but that would be redundant. So I like the Joker, and there. So I did this one on Facebook, and a lot of people said, "Oh, we already elected a Joker," and that could refer to just about any politician.
Right.
So my pick would be Catwoman. I would and A, because I'd like to see a female candidate. B, because you would have sympathy for a Catwoman. A Catwoman is usually referring to someone who owns a lot of cats. So a lady who owns a lot of cats is going to be good to animals and probably good to her constituents, like she is to the cats. Plus, Catwoman always had the best people playing it. There was Julie Newmar, who was the original Catwoman on TV. And then she was replaced by Lee Merriweather, also a very lovely Catwoman, who was then replaced by Eartha Kitt, who was another lovely Catwoman. So right off the bat, they're going to be better looking than their opponent. And if you move to the movies, there was Michelle Pfeiffer, played Catwoman, Halle Berry. So if the candidates look like any of those, they're going to win, especially if they're running against Chris Christie dressed as Catwoman.
We got political today.
I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's as far as we're going to go in politics here. We're going to move on to India. So you know how much we like to talk about Guinness World Records. John is always up on the Guinness World Records, especially if it's sport. So this is kind of a sport here for you, John. An 8-year-old boy in India set a Guinness World Record for speed cubing. Okay, now we've talked about this before. Do you recall what speed cubing is, John?
Oh,
if not,
boy.
you might be able to figure it out. I'll even give you a video. I'll give you an audio visual clue, like we're playing Jeopardy over here. I'll do this. Okay. Does that give you a hint? Karen, how about you?
Rubik's Cube?
Rubik's Cube. That's right. Speed solving of Rubik's Cube. So this
Very good.
8-year-old boy, 8 years old, solved 3 separate cubes simultaneously, one in each hand and one in his feet, held by his feet. Solved all 3 of them independently and simultaneously in 1 minute, 29 seconds.
Jeez.
1 minute, 29 seconds. Let me put that in perspective for you. In fact, I'm going to put it in perspective while I show you a picture of him doing it. There you go. He started with the cubes covered, so he couldn't even see what randomness they were in. Picks them up, starts, and does them completely in 1.5 minutes. I can't even change my socks to get ready to do this in 1.5 minutes. This is unbelievable to me.
To me, I agree with you, Paul. To me, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It's incredible, John.
In a minute and 29 seconds?
1 minute, 29 seconds. Yes,
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Yeah. Less than 90 seconds.
Wow.
That's less time than I cook things in the microwave.
Yeah.
Yes, really.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. So, I mean, I can just, I watched the video of it. I'm surprised my head didn't explode. I mean, that's a lot of stuff going on in one head independently at the same time. What, now that we know he does this, where would this come in handy in real life?
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with a job where you need to do 3 different things, one with each hand and one with your feet. I came up with traffic cop, which might be good in India because the traffic is terrible. I don't even think they have lights in India. Another one might be making burritos at Chipotle. because they have to, you shout your instructions at the burrito maker, and they have to grab stuff from all over the place. The only thing that might bother me is grabbing cheese with their feet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think
grabbing any food with their feet.
grabbing any food with their feet. That's my motto. If they serve food with their feet, I'm not eating there.
Oh boy.
Although I'd like to watch if they were doing it from the drive-through. I think that would be interesting. But I digress. So the poor kid, he's 8 years old. His parents have already told him, now that they see that he can do that he's not allowed to move out ever. Because if he can do 3 things with at a time, he can operate all of their remotes while they're watching television. Which is a real challenge for me, because you got the remote for the TV and the remote for the DVR and the remote for, I don't know, there's more remotes than I have feet and hands. So I'd like to borrow him at least for a little while. Anyways, interesting thing. So now we move to Florida, where there's always strange things happening in Florida. I am, and I'm going to preface this one with, I am not making this up. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. I'm not making this one up. A fitness center in Tampa Bay, home of the world champion NFL champ Tampa Bay Buccaneers, held get ready for this, John, a chicken yoga class.
What?
Chicken yoga, where rescued chickens were bathed and then placed in diapers, and then allowed to participate in a yoga class designed to help them stretch out and relax. Because remember, they're rescue chickens. They were taken from, or maybe they were abandoned, or they were taken from an abusive owner. So deep down, this is a nice thing. In fact, if you don't believe me, I'm not making it up. There's a yoga instructor with 2 chickens, and you can see these are designer chickens. That one down on the floor, for those of you who aren't watching us on YouTube, has these real furry, big, thick, furry feet, which is not your normal barnyard chicken. So these are not egg layers. These are somebody's prized chickens, but not prized enough that they didn't keep them from becoming rescues. So, it's called the Misfits Micro Sanctuary is the name of the place that brings in these chickens and cares for them. And I think that's a great idea. Except, and I've been to sanctuaries before, and I've been to rescue places. So the purpose of those is to rehabilitate the animal, the pet, and then to find a new home. Okay, so how do you know when somebody comes in and says, I need a chicken, that they're actually going to give it a new home as a pet or even as an egg layer? How do you know that that's their real purpose? Any ideas, John?
No, I don't. How would you?
I'm glad you asked that.
Oh, let me know.
If they're carrying a bucket, don't let them adopt the chicken. If they ask to see the chicken spin around a few times, don't let them adopt it. And if they join in and do the yoga with the instructor and then lick their fingers afterwards, don't let them adopt the chicken. And the real surprise to me, and I'm surprised that none of you have pointed this out, is that the chicken is wearing a diaper. Where do you get diapers for chickens?
Well, I can't see the diaper on the chicken.
Oh, it's
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, between those things that between the drumsticks.
Yeah, I get it now.
No, I have a question. Well, I'm sorry.
Good.
Go ahead.
What is that?
No, I have a question. Like,
go ahead.
Why do they need a diaper?
Because they poop all the time.
Thank you, Karen.
I see. Okay.
I hope we're allowed to say that word.
Yeah, we are.
Multiple times today.
Thanks,
That's exactly what they do, John.
Okay.
And to make it safe and pleasant for the yoga instructors.
All right.
And maybe for visitors, I don't know, but for the yoga instructors, they wear diapers. Now, this nice looking lady has a sleeveless outfit on for those who can't see it. What's to stop the chickens from pecking at her elbow?
Yeah.
Or there's too many things involved here that I kind of I have a problem with. Starting with yoga for chickens right off the bat. So let's move on to you know how much I love to do food stories, Karen. So this one is from Siberia, and you're going to like this. This is one that both of you will be participating in. So for the celebration of let's see if I can pronounce this, Maslenitsa. This is a Siberian holiday that symbolizes the beginning of spring. So this just happened. Cooks in Kemerovo, which is far northern Siberia, set a new world record for the tallest pile of pancakes. And I'll show you a picture of it right here. The tallest pile of pancakes.
Wow.
That is 1,500 pancakes stacked in a tower measuring 11.5 feet tall. That's, for our European listeners, that's 3.5 meters tall before it fell over. And Siberians are just like Americans. So there's you can see the picture of the stack. That guy on the left couldn't wait and tried to lick the pancakes. And of course, this is Siberia. So his tongue froze to the pole. And they had to pour hot water or hot syrup or something on it to free him up. That's a Christmas Story reference, by the way. So 1,500 pancakes. Can you believe that?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Is that a Guinness record? Is that a Guinness record?
Well, they said it's a national record. So I mean, I don't know if pancake stacking is a sport in other countries besides other areas besides Siberia, which really doesn't have much call for other sports. So
do they eat the pancakes?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay.
Well, but they don't call them pancakes, Karen. And this is where I thought you might be involved here. Russian pancakes and Ukrainian pancakes are called blinis, B-L-I-N-I, blinis. And I have had those. They're made with wheat flour, same as regular pancakes, but they're served with, I'm going to mispronounce these Russian words, smetana, which is a heavy sour cream, tvorog, which is curdled cheese. So that's like cottage cheese or ricotta, butter, and caviar. Caviar on your pancakes. I mean, I don't want to see the bill at IHOP if I order caviar on my pancakes.
Really?
Wow.
But they are one of the most popular dishes eaten in Russia.
Huh.
Yeah, this holiday predates Christianity. The Eastern Slavic people would celebrate the passing of the sun and the return of the sun, basically, for spring. And that's where the original and the pancakes symbolize the sun. So this round object that has finally come back after the long winter, they celebrated by making pictures of them and then eating it. I don't think they consulted the sun on this one. But they were, so it was referred to as Butter Week or Pancake Week, which is what Maslenista stands for, Pancake Week. So then when the Orthodox Church came, they wanted to get the pagans to join up. So they said, "Oh yeah, pancakes. We'll make pancakes for you. Come on to our church," and they incorporated it into their own spring holiday. And it celebrates Lent, John. So this is, instead of punchkis, which we use to celebrate Lent in the United States, specifically in Cleveland, Ohio, they had Pancake Day. I think I would like either one of those. Now, Karen, what are pancakes called in the Jewish tradition?
Latkes.
Well, potato pancakes are latkes. That's right.
Well,
but aren't there?
Yeah,
Pardon?
any kind of pancake.
Any kind of pancake. What are blintzes?
Oh, so that's like it's dough that you fill with like cheese or cherries or something like that.
But they're flat and round, are they not?
They're flat, and then you wrap.
And then you roll them. Yeah, yeah. And smoke them. No, you don't
No,
smoke
no,
them. Well, and kids, you can try this one at home. If you go to Wikipedia and look up pancakes, there are over 100 different kinds of pancakes around the world. Every culture in the world has a pancake with their own name for it, and their own ingredients and their own toppings. I could have spent hours just reading about pancakes until I got too hungry and had to go get them. So, but you have to be careful. And this is, this is one of our public service announcements from What in the World. If you go to certain African countries, there's a tropical countries, I will say, it might be South America. There's a disease called Pancake Syndrome, which you get. It's an allergic reaction which some people have after eating pancakes, where mites contaminate the flour.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you can probably get it any place. I mean, if that's the situation. So anyway, so there's a little story about pancakes for you from Siberia, of all places. Now, I love pancakes, as I think I mentioned before. I also love Mexican food. And the lovely Donna and I were discussing this last night, that there's a new restaurant opening in Brecksville, where we live. And it's a Mexican, it's a taco restaurant, which in Cleveland, taco constitutes Mexican. So we'll be visiting there shortly. But someone else who loves Mexican food is a stuntman by the name of Hunter Ray Barker. Hunter Ray lives in Chatsworth, California, and his favorite Mexican restaurant is Los Toros. Los Toros is closing. He said, I can't let this happen with my favorite Mexican restaurant closing. So, did he make a donation? Did he eat there more often? Oh, no. Here's what he did. I'll show you a picture of. That is Hunter Ray Barker sitting in an inflatable swimming pool filled with bean dip.
Oh.
And he's from the restaurant. And he sat in that bean dip for 24 hours to publicize the restaurant. That's overnight, by the way, to publicize the restaurant and get people to come and see him and go in and buy some enchiladas or tacos, or probably not bean dip, and help save the restaurant from closing.
Did he help save it?
Did he what?
Did he really save it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, they're back in business. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I don't see any chips around there. Oh no, there's a bag of chips behind him.
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
there you go. So after watching that previous story, I was wondering what direction he was facing. He's facing forward, and you may think that this would be dangerous, but believe it or not, with his rear in the bean dip, he has achieved flatulence equilibrium.
Oh.
So that nothing is passing in either direction. But so that's the jokey part. But in all seriousness, many people ask, what if he needed to go? What was he going to do? And he said he promised that he would not leave the bean dip for the full 24 hours. So he had a funnel installed. And I don't think the picture shows the funnel. Thank goodness.
Now, is he the person with the hat on?
Yes, he is.
He
Yeah.
has a large beard. He has a long beard.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's wearing a mask.
Looks like he has long hair.
Yeah, I know. Sitting, yeah, there
Right.
you go. Sitting in a pool of bean dip, but
Now,
he's got a
who's the other-
mask on.
Who's the other person, Paul, that's sitting there?
The other person is maybe from Guinness World Record,
Yeah,
judging
I think
whether it's a
so.
record or not.
Okay.
Or the owner, or maybe a member of ZZ Top. I'm not sure. Could be.
Oh
Who
my.
also likes Mexican food, but he wasn't clever enough to do a benefit concert for him. Oh no, he lets the other goofy stuntman sit in the bean dip. Now that I would pay to see ZZ Top playing a concert in Bean Dip.
I think it's a very unique activity that he was involved in.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen a person sitting in Bean Dip before.
You'd remember it, wouldn't you, John?
Yes, I think I would, Paul. And
Let
Karen.
me ask you this. Think of your favorite restaurant. What would what would you sit in for 24 hours to save your favorite restaurant? Would you sit in a swimming pool filled with marinara sauce?
Oh,
Paul, I honestly don't think I could sit in any kind of food. I mean, that's gross. That's just gross.
I mean, I can't imagine sitting in maple syrup based on that last story with the pancakes.
Oh,
or Karen in a swimming pool filled with chicken soup
oh, yeah. Oh,
with matzo balls floating around in it. Though, sitting in like a hot tub filled with hot chicken soup might be good for you. Drinking chicken soup is certainly good for whatever ails you, except for
I don't think so. No.
you don't think. Kids, don't try this at home.
No, don't.
I thought people will do anything, honest to God, to get on What in the World.
Yeah.
People will just do anything to be mentioned on our podcast. So there you go, Bobby, Bill, Hunter Ray Barker. There's your 15 seconds of fame, courtesy of What in the World. Now, someone who needed no introduction when he passed on last week is a guy by the name of Lou Ottens. And you may have seen this story. Lou Ottens is the inventor of this device right here that the three of us I know have seen throughout our lifetime. And it's a cassette tape.
Yep.
Lou was the inventor, 95 years old, was the inventor of the cassette tape back in 1963. In his honor, instead of playing the organ at his funeral, they did a mixtape of funeral music on one of his cassette tapes, which I thought was very nice. He invented it. He worked for a company by the name of Royal Philips, which is in Belgium, I'm sorry. It's a Dutch company. And he worked on real tapes, and he hated them. He hated having to pick it up and flip it over and all the stuff you had to do with real. I'm sure kids listening to this are baffled by whatever it is we're talking about here. It's like talking about pay phones. Yeah. But anyway, I still have in this closet behind me, I have a reel-to-reel tape, my original reel tape drive. So he said, I'm going to fix this. And he invented this little device, the size of a pack of cigarettes. That's the way they advertised it. Which revolutionized music for us. It kept the Sony company in business with the Sony Walkman, which was universal. Everybody had a Sony Walkman, whether you were using it for business dictation, whether you were listening to music, you name it, stealing music off the radio, all those things we used to do, could not have happened without the cassette tape. Also replaced the 8-track, which is even more obscure than a reel-to-reel. I understand how the cassette tape works. I have no idea to this day how an 8-track actually worked. All I remember, and John, I know you'll back me up on this one, is the ka-chunk every time it changed tracks.
Oh, yeah. You would make that sound. It would make that sound, yes. That's a good description.
Yeah. You're driving along, singing to the songs, and all of a sudden there's this ka-chunk, and you wonder if you hit a pothole or something. But no, it's just your 8-track changing. So not only did it help Sony, it also helped increase the sale of pencils, which were on their way out at that time. But as you can see from the picture, sometimes you had to rewind it, and the rewind device wasn't working. So you stuck a pencil in one of those little holes and twirled it. And that's how you got the tape to tighten up again, which was also the title of a song, by the way, Do the Tighten Up. John, by whom?
Archie Bell and the Drells.
Archie Bell and the Drells. You probably had
From
that on
Houston,
cassette
Texas.
tape as we bring this to a conclusion.
From hey, Paul, they're from Houston, Texas.
That's exactly right. From you. Very good, John. Whew. Welcome back. Thank you for that one. That's
All right.
That was the smoke's coming out of your ears on that one. Okay, so if you're looking for something to do, as we're hoping the pandemic is winding down, people are getting their shot, their vaccines. If you still need something to kill some time, I've got a solution for you. This comes from the Lego people, and I'll put a picture up of it so you can take a look at what we're talking about here. This is the Roman Coliseum made out of Lego blocks.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty impressive recreation in Lego. That is 9,036 individual pieces assembled into a replica of the Roman Coliseum, complete with little trees, and I don't see any gladiators, but very impressive. Broke the Guinness World Record for the largest commercially available Lego set. So you can buy this, John. So it's like a three-dimensional puzzle, kind of like something that you would see on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I remember Mr. Spock used to play three-dimensional chess. If there was a pandemic on the Enterprise, you would find Mr. Spock in his cubicle or whatever it was called, assembling this. And then Captain Kirk would come barreling in and knock it over and say, Spock, Spock, the Klingons are coming. And that would be the end of it. In order to buy this, you have to sign a waiver from Lego, releasing Lego of all responsibility for any foot injuries from stepping on them, lost sleep, or fights over missing pieces. But 9,000 pieces. I can't imagine that many pieces, let alone paying $500 for.
Paul, do you know what the retail price is? What the retail price?
$550. $550 for a box.
All right.
If I went into a store and I saw this and I said to the lovely Donna, I want that, she would say, Lego that credit card.
That's right.
Very good, Paul. Very good. Very good.
You better believe it. Okay, so let's see. How are we doing on time here? Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, as I mentioned before. That's March 17th, not May 17th. I don't know what May 17th is. I guess we'll find out when we get there. I'm going to take this down. I think we're done with the pictures for a little while here. So let's get back to looking at our whole faces there.
Wow.
So this one comes from Ireland, home of St. Patrick and St. Patrick's Day. Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, a giant walrus landed on the shores of Valentia Island off the coast of, what country was I talking about? Ireland. I had one of those moments. I'm going to talk about those moments in a second. First ever sighting of a North Pole walrus in Ireland. A trip that they believe that happened when the walrus fell asleep on some ice and the ice broke off and he floated all the way to Ireland from the Arctic Circle. Bad luck, wouldn't you say? Which explains why they saw the walrus looking for a leprechaun and a four-leaf clover and anything else he could do to change his luck. This was not a good thing. And how drunk do you have to get to fall asleep so sound that you don't wake up until you hit Ireland? Which then, by then he's got a hangover and there's plenty of beer. So I don't know. So anyway, that's my story from Ireland. Not exactly a Irish story, but speaking of forgetting, Karen, have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you walked in?
All the time.
All the time. John, how about you?
Of course.
Of course. We all have. It turns out, and as I like to say, there's a scientific study for everything, and it always amazes me how they can raise money to do this. That has been researched, and it's a specific condition called the doorway effect, which many people believe, I didn't realize this, many people believe that it's the doorway that causes you to lose your memory. As you pass through the doorway, it somehow magically wipes your brain clean and you forget why it is that you walked into the room. Turns out, and this is good news for us, a recent experiment found that the condition is caused by overloaded brains. So it's not that the door is sucking your brains out. It's because you're thinking about too much. You have too much going on in your head. And as you move from one place to the other, you forget. The other thing that contributes to it is, especially if you go from a room to one that's completely unlike the room you were just in. And I'm sure this happens. You're in the living room, you're watching TV, you think, oh, I need to go into the kitchen and get that. And you go into the kitchen, which is completely different than the living room. And your brain becomes shocked by walking into this strange place that's not like the place where you just were. And it momentarily blitz you out, and you lose what it was that you were. What was I talking about? You lose about what you were thinking about.
You didn't go into another room.
I didn't even. Yeah, that's right. I didn't even go through a door here. In fact, I'm not even sure why I brought this story up. But it had nothing to do with the door. The doorway effect. I thought there's a study for us, for people of a certain age. And so, of course, you wonder, how do you prevent it? Well, here's what they said. If you want to avoid forgetting what you went into a room for, your best bet is to keep your task at the front of your mind until it's done. So in other words, there's no solution because nobody's going to do that. Just accept it. Go back to the room, sit down, watch TV. Eventually it'll come to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's just, I got one more here on, I don't think I have a picture of this one. No, I don't. It's another one where I can't believe that they get money to study this. A banana breeding tracking tool. Banana breeding tracking tool called B-Tract was developed by the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture to collect data on bananas breeding. Now, I've said this before, but if bananas breed, I have a number of friends who would pay good money to watch that. I have, and not just men, but I think women might be interested too. But they're collecting data on bananas breeding for this giant database so that they can breed better bananas. Did you know we needed better bananas?
Oh, well, we need better bananas, but I don't want to know about breeding them.
How they breed? I think they must take the peel off first, I would say. But I don't know. I don't want to know how they do it. But I do want to know, if somebody starts talking about breeding a master banana race, we need to stop it right there, because we don't want that. So anyways, we were welcoming John back from his hiatus. We're going to talk about sports. I have one sport for you, John, another world record. And this is one that I think that if we've never participated in, I think going back to our college days, we would have loved to do. And this one comes from the Sierra Nevada Brewing Company in California, which is where the Sierra Nevadas are. The brewing company set a Guinness World Record when they used a catapult to launch a beer keg a distance of, get ready for this, 438 feet. And I'll, if you can't imagine that, then I know you can't. I'll show you a picture of it here. This is the, no, that's a rug. We don't want that. Oh, there's Mr. Ed.
Oh,
How did Mr. Ed get in there?
wow,
That's for next week. So here's the catapult. The world record, 435 feet, 430 some feet. That is longer than a football field. That's almost a football field and a half. And they built this special catapult, set the world record. The Guinness people came. And then there was a big fight because there's a rival brewery down the street. And they accused Sierra Nevada of using light beer. which they said was
Oh,
cheating. Turns out that's the joke part. It turns out there wasn't beer in the keg at all. I didn't realize this. I was researching this for the show. They thought that would be a waste of beer, which I think we would all agree. So they filled the keg with water to simulate beer, the weight of beer, and then they flung it into the air. Now this is an Olympic sport in the making right here, John. This is we need to either incorporate this into the Olympics, or change the hammer throw to beer keg throw. Now, I think I would pay good money to see that. I think the hammer throw is boring to me.
I think people would be interested in seeing that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, there's two right here. Karen is a third. She only watches for the.
I'm a third. Yeah.
Karen watches for the rhythmic gymnastics and the synchronized diving. So anyway, so as always, at this time of the show, we talk about sports. And I always challenge John to come up with a sport that we can participate in. You know, we were discussing this the other day, that back when we were younger, we played basketball together. I believe we played flag football. We played volleyball. It was all kinds of sports we participated in. We don't do that anymore. For a variety of reasons, some of which have to do with insurance. So I always say, John, find a sport that we can participate in again. And of course, John always manages to find a world's strangest sport, which we could participate in. And without further ado, John, I'm going to let you introduce the sport of the week. And
okay,
I'll get my picture ready here.
All right, good. Well, thanks, Paul. And the sport of the week, a lot of times when I introduce these sports, you have to listen closely because it sounds like a strange name or it doesn't connect. And I think this one is one of these sports. The name of the sport is snow snaking.
Ooh, snow snaking. Snow snaking. That's hard to say.
It is hard to say.
I think I have a picture of a snow snake right here.
Oh,
No, I know, John. John's going to tell me, no, that's not it.
No, it's not. But to start our segment here.
Wait, here. No, I have snow snaking for us. Here, John. This is snow snaking right here. This is a sport that we used to participate
no,
in.
you're serious?
That's an actual sport there. It's not called snow snaking.
Oh.
But we used to call it curb skiing, I think. Where
I'm not sure. Yeah.
You would hide in the snow, and when a car came by, you'd run out and grab the bumper and have it pull you along. Very dangerous. Kids don't try this at home.
We call it bumper hitching.
There you go. Thank you. Bumper hitching. Okay, so I just wanted to show those. Neither one of those is snow snaking, right? Do I have that correct, John?
Right. And
go right ahead.
No, thank you. And to start our segment, on Friday, February 26th, 2021, a city park in Madison, Wisconsin hosted a unique sporting competition. Newcomers and experienced practitioners alike were given the opportunity to play Snow Snake, a wintertime game that has been popular among Native American peoples for more than 500 years. In this deceptively simple but demanding game. In the game, players throw long, polished sticks along narrow, curved snow tracks. When playing Snow Snake, the goal of the game is to get the sticks to slide for as long and as far as possible, with accumulated distances from multiple throws determining the winners in both individual and team competitions. The event.
I'm showing a little video here, by the way,
Yes.
while John is explaining it, of some people throwing what looks like a pool cue down what appears to be like a tobogganing course, and it's going a long way to the point where I can't see the stick. So for those who don't have who aren't watching on YouTube, it's like shuffleboard with a stick.
That's a good description, Paul. A very good description. So anyway, the event that was at or excuse me, in the game, the players throw those sticks along narrow curved snow tracks, like Paul is showing here on YouTube. When playing Snow Snake, the goal of the game is to get the sticks to slide for as long and as far as possible. And again, making sure that the accumulated distances would be noted. The event at Warner Park in Madison was the brainchild of an alderman on the Madison City Council, who also happens to be a member of the Ho Chunk Indian Nation. So a little bit on rules and history. Historical sources indicate that the Snow Snake game has been played by indigenous people living in the northern United States and in Canada for several centuries. The list of nations that were and still are familiar with Snow Snake include the Ho Chunk, the Sioux, the Ojibwe, the Oneida, Wyandot, and Iroquois, most of whom occupied the expansive region surrounding the Great Lakes in the time before the European settlers arrived.
So the Great Lakes. So that's a sport that could have been played in the Cleveland area, the northeastern Ohio, before the Europeans came.
Exactly. So friendly, large-scale competitions pitted indigenous nation against nation. These events were the Native Americans' version of the Winter Olympics, bringing various people together to forge stronger intertribal relationships.
Now I'd like to see that. The Native American Winter Olympics. That would be
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even today, well-attended snow state competitions are being held in public parks and native lands in the Northeast and North Central United States, primarily from November through April. Now, Paul has a very good picture of a snow snake there. The object of the game is to throw and slide along a polished hardwood stick along a curved downward sloping groove or ditch carved out of snow.
I want to point out that for those who can't see the picture, there's a point at the end of that stick.
Yeah.
This is not a sport where you want throws to slip off the track, because this could not just put your eye out. It could put some other valuable parts of your body out.
That's true. Sure.
But that would make it more fun, and that'd make it an extreme sport in the Winter Olympics.
It would be extreme, Paul, that way, sure. But depending on the skill and the age of the player, these sticks could range in size from 2 to 3 feet to 6 to 10 feet long. If the snow was deep enough, the groove could be created right on the ground or on top of a frozen lake by dragging a rounded, smooth log around the ground for a considerable distance, perhaps for a quarter mile, a half a kilometer, or even more.
Quarter mile, that's a long way. Yeah.
Oh, sure. In other instances, a long snowbank would be laboriously built up with the groove painstakingly being cut or carved out on top. As the snow track was exposed to sunlight, the snow on top would alternately thaw and refreeze. This created a very slick sliding surface, which made it possible for the best players to prepare their snow snakes for some truly impressive distances.
We've got parks in Cleveland. We could do this. This looks like fun.
Sure.
This looks like fun.
Some people claim that the best players were able to get their sticks to slide for a mile or more, but this is assuredly an exaggeration. And a far-fetched one at that.
No, the Native Americans wouldn't lie to us, would they?
No, well, but anyway, but being handmade, the curved pitches were highly irregular and bumpy, which inevitably the sliding sticks would cause the sticks to wobble, weave, and undulate as they would speed along. The movements of the sticks were very snake-like, thus giving the sport its distinctive and memorable name.
So that's work. But maybe they should use real snakes. That might be fun. No, it's too cold.
As is often the case with athletic competitions, this sport emerged from a utilitarian practice. Wintertime communication networks in Native American communities linked settlement areas via grooved ice tracks in the snow. Messages could be attached to smooth wooden sticks, which would be flung back and forth at high speeds for significant distances. So it did have a purpose.
Did you get that, Karen? That's how they communicated. Wow. They tied notes into sticks and slid them between the settlements. But this is how you ordered takeout.
Yep.
I want a bucket of real buffalo wings delivered to the Ho Chunk tribe.
Yes, yes.
Unbelievable.
So, some say that snow snake is a game for the ages, and several nations have formed their own semi-professional teams who
Wow.
travel around the country, participating at various competitions for both pride and glory. The season lasts for as long as the cold weather permits. Some tournaments last into late April if there's enough snow. So they're at it for several months.
Yeah.
Now this is the next thing is the reason why we need to have one of these tournaments in Cleveland, John. I like this part the best here.
So in these tournaments, opponents can stand inches away from the competitors that are preparing to throw their snakes. Heckling is legal. Shouting, badgering, and trying to break your opponent's concentration is all part of the game.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine golf where the other golfers get to stand right next to you and yell in your ear while you're trying to putt? That's what they do.
It's part of the rules.
Part of the rule. That's the best part. So you don't even have to call the commissioner and complain or throw the penalty flag. There's no such thing in what is it called again? Snow snaking.
Wow.
Snow snaking.
John, thank you so much for wiping our brain of that story we had at the beginning about the girl facing the wrong way in the bathroom with snow snaking.
Oh,
Snow snaking. There we go. Oh, there's another picture of snow snaking over here. It's even little kids can play too. They even have little snow snake races for kids. Yeah, and but my favorite still is the car pulling like 30 or 40 kids in a line. To me, that's Cleveland snow snaking right there.
Yeah.
But good sport, John. Thank you again, as always.
you're welcome, Paul.
Snow snaking. So at the end of sports, that means we've reached the part of our show for Bluff the Co-host. That's the game that you can play at home, where I have 3 stories very similar to the ones we've been talking about for the past hour, with the added challenge that they may be real or they may be a bluff. And it's up to Karen, John, and you playing at home in the future. So you have a chance to look it up and beat us at this, determining whether it's real or a bluff. So you ready to go?
Ready to go.
Yes.
And Karen trying to make it 2 in a row here.
Yep.
John has had a week to get ready and think about it, so I know he's ready. But let's get started with, I don't know if I have a theme here. I don't think I have a theme this week. So let's just go with story number 1, hands on the buzzer. If you're tired of being told to act like an adult, it's time to head to Dubai, where the hot new craze at cafes and coffee shops is serving cold drinks to adults in real baby bottles. The craze started at one popular cafe when a customer asked for baby food mixed into a milkshake, and other customers began ordering the same thing. To publicize the drink, the cafe's owner bought a case of baby bottles to serve them in, and those became so popular that now all drinks at this cafe and many other cafes in Dubai and coffee shops and restaurants are doing it. Now, before you ask, kids can order their juice and milk in the baby bottles too, but mothers are still not allowed to breastfeed in public. So the new trend in Dubai, good luck tracing this one down. New trend in Dubai, serving cold drinks in baby bottles to adults. Karen, real or bluff?
I have to say bluff because I'm just going to say bluff.
Okay, we'll accept that answer. So
Okay.
Karen says the baby bottle cafes are a bluff. John, how about you?
I'm going to say it's real.
Oh, would you drink coffee out of a baby bottle? I'd pay to see that.
I don't know. I never really gave it much thought, to be honest with you, Paul.
Now you will tonight, John. This story's not going to get out of your head.
Right. Well, I'm going to say it's real.
John says it's real. Karen says it's a bluff. John, you're ahead 1-0. That's a real story. They actually do that in Dubai. I can't imagine drinking
You
that way either.
have to suck it out.
Yes, you do. That's right.
Oh,
And we'll leave it at that
Yeah.
description, Karen.
well,
And move on to story number 2. So John's ahead 1-0. Hands on the buzzer, real or bluff. If you've ever wondered what kind of car Beavis and Butthead would like to work on if they became auto mechanics, the answer would be the Honda CR-V hybrid, because their vehicle ID numbers say 7 farts. Honda admits it didn't plan it that way. It actually comes from U.S. government regulations. The first 3 characters in the VIN represent the factory the car was made in. And CR-V hybrids come from a plant in Indiana whose code is 7FA. The next 2 letters identify the body and the chassis, which are R and T for the CR-V hybrid. That gives you 7 farts. If you want a good discount when buying one, only tell this to male car salesmen. Okay, so the secret message hidden in the VIN number on Honda CR-V hybrids. John, what do you think? I know you don't drive one of these, so you've never seen it.
I'm going to have to say it's a bluff.
John says it's a bluff. It's too absurd to be real.
Yes.
Okay, Karen, how about you?
I'm going to say it's real because, it just sounds real.
It sounds like we're taking the strategy today of whatever the one side says, the other side's going to say the other. Which has paid off for many people playing this game, by the way. And it just paid off again. That's a real story.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. So, John, there we go. 1-1.
1-1.
Now you're going to run out and find a hybrid. These must be hard to find, a hybrid CR-V. And take a look at the VIN number, which is also hard to find. And if you can do all that, call me up. It's okay. So we have one more story here. Let's see. Points are doubled in round 3, and the score is tied. So it doesn't matter if the points are doubled. If it's whoever gets this one. Let's see if who will figure this one out. If you want an electric vehicle, but you can't afford a Tesla or even an electric motorcycle, a company in China has the vehicle for you, an electric unicycle. That's right. The whole thing is just a big tire, a big seat, a big battery, and a black box containing what the company claims is a self-balancing mechanism that keeps you on the bike and keeps them out of accident claim court. For just under $2,000, you get a bike that's easy to park, can hit 30 miles per hour, and will go up to 60 miles before it needs a charge. If you're a chicken, the seat has a couple of handles on it to hang on to, but all you have to do to turn the bike is lean in the direction you want to go. If you're afraid that your friends will laugh at you on your electric unicycle, the manual points out that the electric unicycle leaves you with 2 free hands for giving the finger. The electric unicycle from China. You know how they are in China. They come up with all these strange things. Or do they, Karen? Real or bluff?
Well, my philosophy has worked real well so far today. So I'm going to say, why not? Real.
Why not? Oh, I thought your philosophy was wait till John answers.
No.
So why not real? Would you ride an electric unicycle?
Oh, no.
Okay, how about you, John? Let's answer the first question first. Real or bluff?
I'm going to say it's real.
John says it's real too. So let's see, you both think that an electric unicycle is a real invention. John, would you ride one?
I don't know about the balancing mechanism. I mean, if they could assure that I wouldn't fall off it, yeah, I'd be game for that. But
John likes the part about having 2 hands free to give the finger to other drivers. I know that.
that would be something.
That would be a benefit right there.
Yes, it would be.
Except there's nothing to lean your arms out of on
Right,
nice
right.
days. No window to roll down or anything like that. Believe it or not, that's a true story.
Yeah,
Right.
we
Actually,
tried.
How about that?
Okay,
You
right,
actually
very
can
good,
get
very
an
good.
electric unicycle. Absolutely ugly looking thing. Far too dangerous looking for the three of us. I know that for sure. Probably for most of our podcast listeners as well. So very good. That means that you both you tied.
Yep.
Which both
Very
of
good.
you I know treat as a victory. So way to go.
I'm gonna
Try to
go do a
improve next
victory
week.
lap.
There you go. Oh, on a non-electric unicycle.
Right, right.
Have you ever ridden a unicycle, Karen?
No,
Have you ever wanted to ride one?
no.
That was one of those things. And then we'll wrap it up here. When I was a kid and learned how to juggle and all the goofy things I did before I found out that I was not good at any of them. I thought that now this would be really cool. I could get a unicycle and learn how to juggle and get on the Ed Sullivan Show. And fortunately, my parents talked me out of it. Like many of my strange ideas. So anyway, this means we've reached the end of another One in the World. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, whether you're on a podcast, on YouTube, or live. You can also tune in at 3:30 through nuclearradio.net live. So thank you all for joining us. John, thank you as always. We're glad you're back for sports and color commentary and trivia answers.
No, thanks, Paul. It was fun. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, welcome back. We'll see you soon. Karen, as always, media mogul of nuclearradio.net. Everybody, go to nuclearradio.net after you're done listening to us. Stay there and listen to one or more of the great podcasts that Karen has for all ages, all occasions, you name it. Just great stuff. So thank you for everything that you do for us, Karen. And then we'll see you next week.
Next week. Have a great one.